life is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God. Well, in a world where challenges are plentiful, it's easy for us to feel discouraged. Yet with enough guidance and support, most people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. Well, beyond your fears is everything you ever dreamed of. For the DrSTem Show, we'll give the voiceless a voice and the hopeless hope. And now, here she is, DrSTem.
Hello, real quick, before we get into the show, I wanted to invite you to a free 7-day manifesting challenge. Here's the thing. I believe that we all are capable and able to achieve our dreams and desires at any time, but we have to know how to be receptive, how to manifest and receive that which we are asking for. So for 7 days, I'll be sending you an audio or video for you to watch and then do the things that I say in that video. And then after 7 days, I can't wait. I'm so excited to hear what comes up for you, what you'll be able to achieve. So visit our website, www.drstemi.com and www.drstemspeaks.com. Now, let's get into the show. Hello. I know this is the first time that I'm wearing my glasses right at the get-go. I usually wear
Is that going to make you feel better?
See, I just love my guests. I'm telling you. So yes, you normalize me by wearing your own glasses. Today, I am so excited. As you guys all know, we've been doing this series where I've been highlighting this year's speakers for the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. This time, I have someone whose title and work I had never heard about. So I'm very excited too, because I want to hear more about it. A brain coach. Can you imagine? Welcome to your brain coach, D, to the DrSTem Show.
Hello, DrSTem, and hello, everybody that's listening. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing phenomenally well. And yes, I'm a brain coach and an elite specialist, elite neuron coder specialist. And this is something exceptional. And I'm so honored to have those certifications by such amazing people who train me. And that way I can serve you better.
You know, because then you just, started on that tangent. Why don't you go ahead and just give us a synopsis? What is a brain coach? Who is Brain Coach D?
Okay, well, Brain Coach D is me, Dominika. So that's simple. And Brain Coach certification with a neuron coding certification, it is a holistic approach to coaching. And that's very important because it's not only your mindset, it's not only what you're going through, it's not only the basic things, but we also take into consideration your blood work. We take into consideration how your brain works. We also take into consideration what you're eating. And it's a very, very holistic approach, which takes into account traditional medicine, as well as the medicine from long time ago, where we kind of forgotten. And it gives credit where credit is due. Because a lot of people say, oh no, I don't want the modern medicine. Well, if that modern medicine was so bad, then 500 years ago, we would have lived up to 90, and we didn't. So with that being said, all of those have their place. And a brain coach is a person who is specializing and knows how different parts of your brain work, which part of your brain is stuck, and how to create new synapses, new connections in your brain, and new patterns and waves that will improve the way you live. Because let me ask you this question. Imagine, doctor's team, if you lose all your memories right now, first of all, where are they stored?
The memories.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
They're in your brain, right?
Mm.
And who will you be if you don't have reference points and memories? And that is it. See, we practice every day. We go, oh, I got to eat healthy because it's good for my gut. Oh, I got to exercise because it's good for my, muscles. But what do you do for your brain every day? And don't get me wrong, this is life coaching, but it's to another level. I'm taking you as a whole person. It's not only your psychology. It's not only your emotional well-being. It's everything put together because you are a holistic human being. There's no way we can separate that. And that is phenomenal because my knowledge that was passed on from Dr. Amen, if you guys have not encountered him, absolutely, Dr. Amen is phenomenal. He's a psychiatrist, changed the face of psychiatry. And what he did, he said a long time ago, why are we the only, when it talks about psychiatrists, and to be clear, I'm a coach, not a psychiatrist, not a therapist. You went, why are we the only group of doctors that never look at the organ we treat? And that went poof. So he started using SPECT scans where he scans your brain. And he's the one who did a huge study on people who had issues with microaggression, the issues of football players whose personalities would change after years of playing football, and how that impacted their brain. And he's able to reverse that. He's the guy who gave me the program. If you have problems with memory, the program, if it started early enough, can stop or reverse Alzheimer's or old dementia. You can die cognitively aware. Now, don't get me wrong, it doesn't work for everybody and all the time, but it has amazing results. And all of that put together with the neuron coding, where we create neural pathways in our brain, it just when how you pick up the cup, the habit, how you get up in the morning is a habit, how you brush your teeth is a habit. So what if you're having habits that are not working for you and they're stopping you from getting wherever you want to go? What if there was a way to skip the whole long process and create new habits and create the new neural pathways, which are responsible for our habits, how we drink, walk, talk, and implement them in your brain how you want them, in a way you want them to work, and kind of overlap the old behaviors. Now, the old behaviors will never be gone, but you'll have new neural pathways that will be stronger and will kick in automatically when you need them. That is phenomenal. And it's the shortest way to getting your results. The neuron coding method combined with brain coaching from Dr. Amen, where we use literally food, blood work. So you know, I saw your face, you went blood work? Like, why would a coach look at blood work? Well, imagine that you are assuming a perfectly great, wonderful woman, human being, but you're very often tired, sluggish, and you feel kind of down. Very often, it's lack of ferritin in your blood. It's as simple as that. So if we check for that and you don't have enough of that, I can direct you, go to a holistic doctor and make sure this is raised, because Dr. Amen recommends for us to have an optimal level, not normal level. See, like vitamin D3, which is super important for your mood, and it carries the nutrients to your brain and binds a lot of agents. It is super, super important that it's not normal, because normal is between 30 and 100. So if you're 35, the doctor said, well, it's low, but it's in the norm. Yeah, it is low and it's in the norm, but it's not optimum. Do you want to be normal and okay, or do you want to be fantastic? Do you want to have the optimum brain or just okay brain and normal brain? I choose the fantastic, amazing, and optimum that works for me. And that would be the norm between 60 and 80. That's what Dr. Amen recommends. Now, I'm not a doctor. I cannot prescribe anything to you, but I can say, hey, this blood work, according to Dr. Amen, is not supporting your brain and your well-being. Can you go to a doctor and check that out and make sure that is sorted out? See, your numbers, it's part of you. If your body is not functioning well, me as a coach, as a person working with your brain and your psychology, if I don't have the building blocks, if your body is not okay, I have hay. I know it rhymes. I don't know why, but it does. Your body is like hay, and you're providing hay to your brain. So anything I build is going to be very fragile. At any point, it will fall apart. I want you to provide me with building blocks. I want you to be super healthy. So what we create, whatever you want to create, will be sturdy, and will be able to sustain life, which throws things at us, and there's nothing we can do about it. I really want to encode DNA in my clients. I want my clients to thrive when they say no and not feel guilty. And that's what they do. I have a client, she's amazing. She's a beautiful woman at age of 56. And it was the first time in her life she said, no, I don't want to do this. And she didn't feel guilty. She didn't feel rejected. She wasn't afraid that somebody's not going to love her. And, you know, that is so powerful, because for some unknown reason, and I love this example, life is just how you see it. And that's only it is. All events have no meaning unless you assign meaning to them. And that's Tony Robbins. But the example I'm going to give you is from one of my coaches. I have two of them. And she gave me that example. And I told her, I'm selling that to everybody. You're going to a funeral, usually a sad event. You go, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I'm never going to see that person again. It's a tragedy. It's painful. And all of these perceptions come into place. And it's the end. And, you know, we're never going to see each other. We're never going to laugh, blah, 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 blah. That's your experience. A second person goes to exactly the same funeral and goes, that is fantastic. That person moved on. That person now is without pain. That person is happy. I am so glad they've graduated from life into the next level. Funeral is a funeral. The event is exactly the same. Your perception will dictate how you feel. And that is something you have control over. You do not have control over the event, somebody died, but you do have control over how you will perceive it, what emotions you assign to it, and how you will live through it. And that's exactly what we can do in our life. I mean, when you have a small kid, right? Tiny little kid running around, it falls down. You go, don't worry, get up. You can do it. You did great, right? You keep running. You're learning. That's awesome. Or with walking. And then we grow up and we fall down and everybody just sits on our butt and goes, how could you do this? That's such a big mistake. That is so ridiculous. Why did you even try? Blah, blah, blah. Can you imagine if our parents would do that to us when we were little kids and they would put us down every time we failed? No, they did wonderful. They said, fantastic, great job. You took 2 steps. I'm so proud of you. They encouraged us. And our brain then went, that is nice. I'm being praised. I feel good. Okay, let me try it again. And that is something that we have control over. Now, on my journey, my coach once asked me, she goes, hey, Dominika, so what do you think about yourself? And I'm like, well, I usually, I have high expectations of me. I'm sure everyone can relate. Yeah. I used to be a high-level executive, and my expectations of myself were realistically unachievable. And every time I made a mistake, I would bash myself in my head and go, you stupid, you're an idiot. How could you do this? And everything you can imagine, I told myself. Oh. And it wasn't until I did that exercise with putting, every time I said something bad about myself, I put it in a little box. And then after a month, my coach had me take everything out and count. I had 673 bashing negative information that I gave to myself.
In 1 month?
In 1 month. Now, if I would do that to somebody outside of me, they would never be friends with me. I mean, I wouldn't want a friend like that either. So the low self-esteem came from me, not the outside world. And one of my other clients, she was going through a big challenge because she had dreams, but she didn't believe she deserved happiness. And because she was taught by society and by her family that she has to put everybody first. Well, that's all good and dandy until you have needs and you realize you have nothing to give. You can't give something you don't have.
Yeah.
How are you going to teach somebody to love you if you don't love yourself? Mm-hmm. How will they know what you need if you don't know what you need?
So let me just interject for a minute. You heard her calling herself Dominika. That is her name. She goes by your brain coach D in the workplace, in a business, but her name is Dominika, and the last name, is it Staniewicz?
Almost beautiful. I would say almost perfect. I'm so impressed. Eastern European names are not easy to pronounce.
I know. So how do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce your last name?
Staniewicz. Staniewicz.
Oh, Staniewicz.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a Vich. Okay. Staniewicz. So yes, you see her as Dominika Staniewicz, your brain coach D. That's how she is on our flyers. As you can see, she loves telling stories as well, so we I just let you flow and I let you just talk. I was like,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was like, she loves to tell stories, which is a good thing, because during the conference on December 17th, she is one of the speakers at the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. Her topic is Stones into Feathers, Become Unstoppable. I can just imagine what's that going to be like. So I want to invite all of you, if you have not registered yet, to come and hear your brain coach D talking about stones into feathers, becoming unstoppable. You can get more information on registration at www.drstemi.com, or on our Facebooks, her Facebook, my Facebook. You will find banners and links on there that you can join in. But you know what? Here's the thing. With you having had this time to talk about the transformation that your patients have, your trainings, deep in-depth training that you have, it just showed passion in the work that you do. So I'm just imagining myself looking at this show and wondering, so what kind of patients, when can I say, you know what, I think this is a moment that I can either get a referral or call Brain Coach D, for services? What kind of, clients do you get?
So I work with bilingual people because
Oh.
our brains are constructed differently,
Oh.
and bicultural people because our brains function differently.
Okay.
I work with women and men aged between 30 and 47 that are struggling with saying no, that are struggling with self-belief and achieving what they want to achieve. People who are suffering from stress and frustration and anger, and people who are lost and they've done already some type of self-development. They read books, but it's not working. And this is the type of a person I work with. Now, not everybody is my client and not everybody I can work with, but I have a huge network of people that I will refer you out to. I believe that there's a point in everybody's life when you say, okay, there has to be more to life than this. And if you're at that point, you're probably a person that I would love to speak to and help you out. And there are several programs that you can be in a group or do individual coaching with me. And I am happy to support you on your journey. And the beautiful thing is that I want you to stop being my client. And that's my goal. I don't want you to stay with me forever. I want to give you tools and abilities so you can move on and maybe go to another coach with different specialty. So please feel free to take out and also check out the coaching pills, which are short videos with some information, how we can deal with things, with suggestions on anxiety, on stress, what you can do, little tiny things that can help you along the way.
Where can they see those?
They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on YouTube, they're everywhere. Your Brain Coach D, you'll find me there, and those little videos as well, or put a hashtag, the coaching pill.
Oh, okay. I am going to look for those, hashtag the coaching pill. See, this is why I like doing this, because then I get to know more about the speakers that we have and get to understand, but this is good. So you were not born a brain coach. Let's take back and do some play a little bit.
Okay.
How and when did you begin to say, you know what, this could be interesting and intriguing, rather than just being a regular coach? I want to be a brain coach. How did that start?
So first of all, I want to tell you that I'm epileptic. So my brain is already compromised in some ways. Taking care of my brain is important. I'm also a science geek. I'm a sociologist, master's in sociology, BA in education, and a few other degrees. And I believe in science. And I do know that science changes. I believe in spirituality. And I was looking for something which would combine science-based information with spiritual and everyday life. And brain coaching allowed me to do that. So it's not only, I feel, I think, I have some science behind, and I have some studies behind where you go, okay, so why is it important exactly for me to sleep? I can tell you, okay, which one of the 500 studies would you like to read? And I can direct you to those studies. So it's not me kind of saying, oh, it's important. There is some background. And I encourage all of you, whoever you work with, fact check your doctors, because science changes and knowledge changes and it evolves, and that's phenomenal. And that's why I chose brain coaching, because it entails holistic approach. It entails medicine, natural medicine, modern medicine, brain knowledge, neuroscience, psychology. All of that is put together to treat us as a whole instead of just an element. Because I truly believe in holistic approaches in everything. We're not separated from ourselves. Our brain is not separated from our body. And there is this beautiful saying by Dr. Joseph McElden III, phenomenal psychologist, neuropsychologist, PhD. He says, what you think is what you feel. What you feel is what you do. What you do is what you have.
Wow.
And
That's
that
beautiful.
goes both ways. It's a cycle. Now, if you take that as a domain, there's nothing that can stop you in life. So that's why brain coaching.
I see. So you spoke about bilingual.
Yes.
What other languages do you speak, and where were you born?
I am Polish. So I speak Polish. I speak English. I speak French. I speak Russian, and I'm learning Arabic.
Whoa, that is bilingual for real. So you were born in Poland?
Yes.
Okay, and when did you come to the United States?
I was 7 until I was 9, and then I left for 3 years. I came back when I was 12 until I was 19, and then I came back when I was 40.
Okay. So going back, to your childhood, do you have a childhood memory that maybe has helped you become the brain coach or, an expert in your field that you're doing now? Do you have a memory?
I would say it's not a memory that helped me, but became my driving force.
Okay.
And my driving force was my mom till this day telling me, don't be so bubbly and don't be so happy, because people will not trust you. There is a saying in my culture, if you're happy all the time, you must be stupid.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
so
wow.
My natural personality does not fit my culture. And it was suffocating me.
To not be you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't, because people would resist that. They would go, why are you so happy all the time? Just go away. You must be fake. Obviously, if I'm talking about, discussing with my clients something that is difficult or challenging, I'm not going to be bubbly. But overall, when I'm talking about things with excitement, with love, that is considered not professional. So I had to restrain myself to talking about brain coaching in a very professional manner, with a lower tone of voice, with a certain rhythm. And that's the only way I would have been taken seriously, which is exhausting.
Oh, no, because that's not you. Yeah. So am I taking it that you work for yourself and you're not working with any company?
I do work for myself, and I am recommended brain coach and brain trainer from Dr. Amen Clinic. So if you're looking for a brain coach or brain trainer in Houston, Texas, to be exact, or in Texas, I would probably be on that list for sure, actually.
Okay.
I'm also recommended by the Neuroencoding Institute as an elite brain coach, and elite neuroencoding specialist. So that's another one. But I still, hopefully not much longer, work as an HR manager for a company where I manage my team and I get to do a lot of wonderful things. I am absolutely in love with what I do, and I'm hoping to bring those trainings and that knowledge to communities that are, for example, losing their memory. There's a special training I do, which I spoke about by Dr. Aim, and there's another fantastic training, Brain Thrive by 25, that I do for people under 25, which teaches them how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with learning, why your prefrontal cortex is so important, why your parents are important, why are you making stupid choices, and it's not your fault. It is your brain. You can say it's your brain because it is. It's not developed. It doesn't have the ability yet to help you. So there's so many wonderful things I can do with that, and I'm striving and thriving and hoping that I can deliver this not only to people who can afford my services, but also to the underprivileged communities of immigrants and people who are just starting out, yet they need that to thrive, to feel better about themselves, to take away the guilt of feeling ashamed or being bilingual where you feel like nothing is matching. And if you speak to bilingual people, you will see that their behavior in their culture and their language will be very different than their behavior in English and in English culture. We need to merge that. And that's why there's so many phenomenal things about the brain that we're still discovering, and it is used in coaching and your holistic approach that it would be a loss if, only a few people would know about it.
Yeah, you're talking to one bilingual person, so I do understand, because I was born and raised in Zimbabwe and I've been here for 35 years. So many a time I'm still thinking, and I've been here for 35 years, I'm still thinking in my language, which is Shona, and want to translate it verbatim into English sometimes, or want to translate it to my brain in English so that it makes sense in Shona. So it's always, a struggle.
Because the emotions probably don't match the translation. The emotion in your language will be different than emotion in English because you're at a different point in life where you gain that knowledge and you're emotionally developed differently. Your belief systems, by the way, and that's a tip for free. If you're working on your belief systems, you should work in your original language because they were formed by the age of 7. If you do it in English, it will be incongruent and it will not work.
So who's going to teach me and work with me in my language? And I can't even speak my language in a whole session where I could sit in, like in my coaching sessions, we do it for like 50 minutes with my coach. So, I mean,
that's okay, because those are simple things. When you are implanting belief systems and values, they're very simple sentences. So if you're still resonating with that language,
I do,
then definitely that work, the basic work, should be done in your own language, which I found very challenging. To tell you a little tiny story, when I started working on my values and belief systems in Polish, I could not even say them. In English, it was flying, I'm this, I'm that, I believe, blah, 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 blah. The whole process was down. And then I'm like, okay, let's do it in Polish. Not a word. I couldn't smile. I couldn't feel. It was stuck in here. It was so stressful, so uncomfortable, so not me. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta redo all the work I've done on myself in my own language. That sucks.
So I'm a writer, and I still can even write in my language. I can still write in Shona. So just because I've just spoken to you now today, I think what I will do is write them in Shona.
Absolutely.
The values that I remember and do that journaling there, because then that's going to help me to process them, because that's a great idea. I never thought about it, to say, you know what, everything I learned by the age 7. So in order to undo, because then we have to undo
the belief system, and
a lot
to your body without you even realizing it. It was just a situation where somebody imposed their thought in a situation where your body was in a heightened state of emotion. It combined each other, and then your brain went, okay, this is what I believe. Okay, let's look for proof in the world. And that's how it reinforced. So unfortunately for us bilingual people to undo it, we got to do it in our own language.
Yeah. And at that time, we didn't even, there wasn't even this, expectation that we would end up our lives in the United States of America and not home. So we were preparing to live our lives, get old and die at home. And then
Yep.
now we came here and everything just changed. So yeah, it's really something. So, okay, let's do some more play. What's your favorite color?
Yellow
Oh,
and
okay.
turquoise.
Oh, interesting. What do you like to do for fun?
Everything that's not illegal.
Which is what?
Dancing, singing, reading,
Yes.
learning, biking, snowboarding, zip lining, kayaking, boating, traveling, playing volleyball, walking, going to different parks, taking pictures, acting like a total idiot. I love it. On the middle of the street dancing. I do literally everything.
Everything. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. If you had told me to go ziplining, or that I would be able to go through ziplining before June of this 2022, I would have told you that one, you're crazy, and two, I ain't crazy, right?
Okay.
So I go on vacation to Montego Bay, and with my sisters and her family. And one of the activities that we went to was ziplining. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not doing that, right? But then I thought as I was there, I said, one of the things that I want to be able to do, because I also help women that have fear, and I call it becoming unstoppable, free, and fearless, just being your best version of yourself. And I thought, what would it feel like for me to experience something that is out of the ordinary and just challenge myself and see how it feels? So I go up there, and they put the belt and everything in there, right? And I'm like, oh boy, I don't know if I can take that, because now my heartbeat is exacerbated. But behind me are two young ladies, 18 and 19. They're right behind me, and they're talking, and they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get this here. Remember that last time that we came, and I'm looking at them, I said, how many times have you guys been here? All the time. We come here all the time. So my brain quickly says, oh, if they're 18 and 19, so I'm like, how old are you? 18 and 19. And I'm thinking, they're 18 and 19, and they're so excited about going back over and over again. Quickly, I say, you're not going to die, Stam. You're going to make it. You're going to survive. And they just look okay. Nobody has got a, limb that is broken or anything. I go out there, and the guys, pushes me to go. And it was the most exhilarating feeling, like, and then I go, because it was like a V, that we did. And I went back again to do it the second time, because it was that much fun.
Wonderful. That is absolutely fantastic.
So, yeah. So, I mean, when you mentioned zip lining, I'm like, oh, you do zip lining? Now I can also say I do that, because then it's an experience like no other.
So one of the things as a coach, I gave myself the permission to, on purpose, put myself out of comfort zones and do things that I'm afraid of. One of the things that I'm a fire walker, so I've done that twice.
With Tony Robbins.
With Tony Robbins. And it was the best thing. I mean, when I went there, I said, I'm not doing that, okay? I'm going to the training, but that's not happening.
Yeah.
But it did happen. And what it gave me is that when I'm in a place of fear, and I get there too, like everybody else, that's a normal emotion, and we do need to go through it.
Yes.
I remind myself of that when I was so scared, and I went, just go. And I went, and nothing happened. I mean, I did have, my feet were sore after walking on fire.
Yes.
But there was a chant that we did. And that chant stayed with me. Anytime I'm afraid of moving forward, I switch that chant on, and that state comes in, and I'm like, I got this. I got this. And those experiences, when we push ourselves and we prime those experiences and create those synapses in our brain that are easy to retrieve, are our superpower.
Yes. No, I'm very excited that you said yes, along with the 7 other speakers that will be gracing us on the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. So as we're talking about bounce back, is there one or two things that you have done during this pandemic that we're going through in order to overcome fear or to help yourself with the bouncing back? Because everybody's still struggling.
So I actually enjoyed the pandemic.
You did.
I reframed the pandemic.
Okay.
So first of all, there was nowhere to spend money. So I paid off all my debts.
Very true.
Second of all, there was nothing to do. So I got rid of my habit of not moving enough. And I started exercising 5 times a day, riding a bike and doing things. I took on courses that I never had time to take on. I started learning, got my certifications and everything else. Bouncing back is different for everybody. I think the moment for me in my life for bouncing back was after my son died when he was 16 months old. And that took a long time. And another pivotal element of my life was when I realized that my life sucks. And if this is my life, I don't want to live like this. And I decided, okay, this cannot be it. So if something, and that's a very important thing, a pattern, looking for patterns as a sociologist is kind of my thing. So when I realized that I keep having the same issues and problems in just different packages, like, okay, this cannot be the world. I have to be doing something to have the same thing repeat over and over in different packages. So maybe I should look at me, not the world. And that was the moment when I started working on myself. That was 13 years ago. I am after 13 years of self-development, growth, coaching, training, reading, and changing myself to becoming, I wouldn't say the best yet, but one of the better versions of myself. And those were the pivotal moments, and those were the bouncing back and going, no, I'm not doing this. I want better. I'm better than this. I want more from life than what I'm having. So those were 2 moments. Pandemic, on the other hand, because I already had the skills as a coach, I was able to reframe, and instead of concentrate on the tragedy, on death, on scarcity, on things that are around me that I'm fearful of, I concentrate on things I have control over and how I could enhance my life. So I was in a better place, I guess, than a lot of people with the knowledge and skills and tools that I had.
Yeah, that's awesome. As we end the show, because I know I could talk to you forever, do you have a favorite quote, a favorite saying, something that you would love our guests to know from you?
Let's encode happiness in our DNA. And another one is, when you're in the middle of hell, keep walking, because even hell has a border.
I couldn't end this show on a better note. I want to invite all of you once again to the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference for Women, which is December 17th, this 2022. Go to www.drstemi.com in order for you to register, because this wonderful guest and doctor that you see today with us, Dominika Staniewicz, your brain coach D, will be one of the guest speakers, and she's coming in to talk about stones into feathers, becoming unstoppable. As I always say, this is Dr. STEM. Be encouraged.